Hello and good afternoon. My name is Benga Adiko, and I am CEO of NewGait. And I'm here with Kate Rose, a physical therapist, and we have another chat with a physical therapist regarding NewGait usage. Can you start off by just introducing yourself?
My name is Kate Rose, and I'm a physical therapist in Marquette, Michigan, and I work in an outpatient clinic. And before I was in the outpatient clinic, I was working with home health as well.
How long have you been practicing, and what is your specialty?
I've been a physical therapist for over 30 years. I did a fellowship with Gary Gray, who is a movement scientist, one of the leaders in the nation in movement science, and he's a physical therapist to professional athletes and just an amazing man. So his philosophy is called applied functional science, and it's based on the science of movement. And so I'm going to say that's my specialty. It's called AFS, and it's just looking at the body as a whole, because when your foot hits the ground, there is a chain reaction in every joint in your body. And so we don't want to isolate one joint and look at that. We want to look at the whole body always, which fits in really well with the NewGait.
And how did you first get introduced to the NewGait?
I got introduced by Kim Spranger, who we both know is an incredibly enthusiastic person. And the minute she saw the NewGait, she couldn't believe what the potential was in physical therapy. And we met for lunch and she told me about it. And at that time I was working in home health. So she came and did an in-service at our clinic and left us with a unit. And we were able to play around with it in home health. I did use it there, but then when I went back to outpatient, then I started working with Kim, and she showed me so many things with so many patients, how to use it. Yeah.
How do you incorporate it into your practice?
It's a very generalized practice, but I will say that I use it a lot with the older folks, and come in with all kinds of weaknesses. We do use it. I've used it with our athletes. We work with a high school. It's right across the street from our clinic. And our knee replacement patients, certainly the knee replacements, have used it a lot with them.
You know, it does look intimidating at first. And so how did you overcome that?
After using it a while, it became less intimidating. You know, I just knew what to do then. But in the beginning, I wasn't sure what to do. And I'll tell you what else really helped is having those extra pieces with the loops, so that I didn't get it on someone and then think, well, wow, I need hip extension now, and then have to take the whole thing off, slide a new. You know, now we just have a bunch of those on every piece. So once it's on somebody and you decide to add something else, you just have to get a bungee and hook it up. That was another big piece. But it was just using it. I mean, you know, like anything, the more you use it, it just becomes familiar and a heck of a lot easier. You could start more simply. And I think that would be a great way to introduce people to using it, is to not feel like you have to use every single piece the first time. Just put the leg piece on.
Yeah, and Kate, how long have you been using it?
I think about 2 years, maybe 2 or 3.
How many patients would you say you've used it on?
Initially, I probably didn't use it, but on maybe one patient at a time. But towards, as time went on, just started seeing more and more potential for it and using it on a lot more people.
Initially you say, oh, I'm going to use this on my stroke patient or my neuro patient because it's such an obvious need. Mm-hmm. But then as you look at the potential of it, you go, well, wait a minute, what about this person, like person who just has a bunch of postural issues that you don't seem to be able to cue away? Or, so I think you're right. It's exactly that. You see the potential more as you get more friendly and user-friendly for you.
And even the potential as a strengthening tool. I mean, not just a replacement for a weak muscle, but to strengthen a muscle. And when I use it on myself, so I had a herniated disc. I had weakness in my leg. Our friend that's a physiatrist came over and did muscle testing and told me where I was weak. So I got the NewGait out and I put it on, and I put it where the physiatrist had told me I was weak. I put it on my hip abductors, and I put it on my foot dorsiflexors and everters. And I did that walk. And initially I had a lot on the hip, and did that ever work my hip? And it it was too much, because the muscles that were resisting that abduction or controlling the abduction, they got really fatigued. And so when I got home, so first of all, I saw how you could strengthen the opposing muscles. So then I took it off the hip and just used it on my ankle, and then I could do that walk without any trouble. One day I walked 9 miles with that on.
So now, for how many sessions or weeks do you feel like you ended up having to use the dorsiflexion assist until you didn't need it anymore?
I used it for 3 weeks, and every time, and I just got progressively stronger. So how much of that is actually the NewGait plus healing, who really knows? But after about 3 weeks, I just, which is this week, just this week, I think I'm ready to take a walk without it. I haven't taken a walk without it. I probably walked every other day, and 3 to 5 miles, except that one 9-mile day.
I just think that recovery, and as we look at healthcare today, as we have less and less visits, that the more we can promote healing in creative ways with less visits, the better, the more effective we'll be, and the happier our patients will be.